Yeah, with this video, oh goodness gracious me, I feel the hate probably coming on very quickly. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and yes, if you have watched my channel before, you know this. But if you're new to this channel, I am warning you now, I am one of those really sad YouTubers who just sits in front of the camera and just talks. That's me. What can you do? Hope you can forgive me. Just eat something or do something while you're watching this video. That's how you'll make it through. That's the spirit. Let's do this. Oh yes, and I just got home from work and it was sunny out, so yes. Hence the the straw hat all over again. If you see my channel before, you know I actually have done videos with this hat before. What can you do? It's just sign of the times. Alright, so, as I said, with this video and the title sequence, what Doctor Who story do you hate that everybody loves? This is a video where it shows how you can become a glutton for self-punishment. Because yeah, you're going to make enemies doing this video. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just how you feel. So guys, before I start this video, I just want to make it very, very clear. I understand why you guys love these stories. This makes sense to me. I'm not one of those people like, oh, why do people love this story? Oh, I get why you love this story. I get exactly why you absolutely love this story. But despite my desire to love it, my God, for some reason, I just don't. And I don't know what to do, except the fact that I'm just an oddball in this case. So please, guys, when you're watching this video, please understand, I understand why you love it. I hope you can forgive that I don't. Now, without further ado, let's go to the First Doctor. Okay, from First Doctor, William Hartnell, 1963. He's the very first Doctor. What is the story of his that I do not like, but everyone else seems to love? And that would be from, I believe, the beginning of his second season, Planet of Giants. If you see my channel before, you know I'm not crazy about Planet of Giants. For one reason. Great premise. Great concept. It's a cool idea. It's just executed in a very dull way. Like, what I mean by that is there doesn't seem that there's much, immediacy or anything really going on except for the Doctor and companions. They got shrunk by the TARDIS and now they're hopping or they're walking from one scenario to the next of just seeing things that are made enlarged for them to make them look like they're small. But really, most of the plot is just them walking around things that are big to make them look very small. There's not a sense of or enough sense of an immediacy of a crisis or conflict that they have to combat. And that's what it is. I love the premise. The concept is brilliant. When I first saw the concept, I saw the premise, the plot line, I said, oh, genius! Then I saw it in actuality, and it's like, this can be a little, plotting. The plot is a little plotting. It's just, again, going from one enlarged object to the next to show the Doctor and companions are very small. And that's overall pretty much it. It's a good idea, just the execution could have been better. Now, from the second Doctor's era, oh God, it's going to get so much hate. I'm going to get so much hate. Guys, I want to like this story. I really do. Enemy of the World. From the second Doctor's second season, where we have Patrick Troughton as the Doctor with Jamie and Victoria, and everything about the premise, everything with the plot works perfectly. The concept of the Doctor landing in a world where there's a doppelganger of him, and the doppelganger is this evil genius of a person. The idea of the sun store, the idea of there's a machine underground causing natural disasters, and the salamander tricking everyone underground thinking that there's, overground like there's nothing left, it's just radiation. But people above ground tricking them into thinking that he is the second coming. Everything about this plot works. The actors are really good. The concept is really good. Oh my God, there's so much genius to this. And I will say that after rewatching it, I did like it better than before. But truth is, guys... Hold on, there's music in the background. It's in there. Really? I was gonna roll here. I was gonna freaking roll. Hang on. Really? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is West Philadelphia. What can you do? Okay, there we go. So Enemy of the World has everything going for it. It's genius, and on paper I'm sure it was phenomenal. But in actual execution, guys, I can't explain why, but I get a little bored. Like, watching Enemy of the World is just... I'm like, it's again, dull. Like, it's a good, everything about it works. I don't know why, when I'm watching it, it just doesn't. Despite the fact that everything works. And I can't explain better than that, but there's just something about, I think it could have done better being one episode shorter. And that's it. It was just, I think, drawn out a little bit too much, despite the fact that everything about it does work. Either way, and also, I think it also comes down to Patrick Troughton as Salamander. Patrick Troughton is a phenomenal actor, but I said it before, I say it again, when it comes to that sort of accent, again, you can be a genius at accents. You can nail it and easily still sound fake. It's not because I know that Patrick Troughton does not talk that way. Oh, no. Usually, it's one of those very few accents where very few actors can do it, who it's not their natural accent and sound very organic as it. It's very difficult. Very difficult. You can be a genius at accents and bomb with this accent. Patrick Troughton does not bomb with the accent. It's just that it's a difficult accent to do. Does that make any sense? It's difficult to do and sound real when it's not your natural accent. Patrick Troughton does it the best anybody could do it. It's just difficult because it's almost impossible to do it. And that drags it down for me, especially since we don't really see the Second Doctor and Salamander encounter each other until the very end. Missed opportunities there. I understand why it was done that way, but it's like, wait a minute, if there was some interactions between Salamander and the Doctor, a little more of that could have been really helpful. Like, really helpful. That's what I'm thinking. Next we have the third Doctor's era. Oh, God in heaven. This is where you guys hate me even more. I'm going to make it very clear. This story is good. Like it is with Enemy of the World. Like it is with Planet of Giants. The story is good. I just think it could have profited from being one episode less, because I just don't think there was enough story to make it worth being, I believe, 6 episodes. And it comes from the third Doctor's second to last season. Planet of the Daleks. Planet of the Daleks, once again, I think this is one of the stories that's perfect, probably on original transmission. It did everything it needed to do on original transmission. Probably like when you're watching it, that half-an-hour special each season, episode each week. Sorry for the saying seasons. I mean each week. Each week. But you could also tell with the way the cliffhangers were, it was kind of just ending. Like, remember that is, usually when you have cliffhanger, you know, the episodes end in, it's the beginning or continuation of a story. In Classic Who, it ends on a big cliffhanger. Some of the ways that these episodes ended, they just kind of ended. Like, it's like obvious, like we don't know exactly where the cliffhanger is here. It's more so just ending, and because we hit our half-an-hour, you know, time limit. And then next week you're going to see the rest. That's all it is. But Planet of the Daleks, also, it's gotten, and I feel better when hearing this, because there was some back and forth when it came to the people who worked on it, of whether this story was good or not. So people would look at me saying, oh yeah, you know, how dare you criticize this story. Actually, when it comes to the people who worked on the story, you can see in the special features how split they are on if this story is a good story or a not so great story, due to the fact that it's just an updated version of the first Dalek story in the first Doctor's era, the Daleks. It's actually the premise is very similar. It's almost identical in many ways. So it's more like just giving you the Daleks, but updated with Planet of the Daleks. That being said, again, very good story. Nothing is actually wrong with the story. It's just the pacing. I believe it could have been one episode shorter. And so I know you guys thinking, you say you hate these stories, but you actually don't hate these stories. You're more so just find them flawed. And that's it. And they are flawed, but I just don't love them as much as other people love them, and I kind of overlook them, or I give them a pass when I'm choosing to watch Doctor Who. These stories are not bad so far, but they're not stories I have the desire to go back and revisit. So I don't hate the stories as much as you probably thought I was going to hate them, but I don't like them as much as probably I am desired to like them. See if that makes any sense? Does that make any sense at all? Sorry. Okay. Number 4 from the 4th Doctor's era. Oh, God. This is where you guys are going to hate me forever. But I can't help it. For some reason, I don't like this story. From The Key to Time. The Androids of Terra. Don't hate me. I want to like that story. I go into it always wanting to like it. But there's something about that story I just don't enjoy looking at. Like, there's just something about it. It's like, I don't enjoy watching you. Like, visually, there's something about you I find grotesque. Maybe it's because I don't like the way the androids look. Like, I've seen androids before and after this episode, and they're always just more, like, their interior design is more aesthetically attractive. But there's something about this episode that just feels just not appealing to me. And I know that this is, I believe, inspired, the Androids of Terra is inspired by the story, the, something of Zenda, like the Tale of the Prisoner of Zenda, or the Tale of Zenda, or the Adventures of Zenda. I know it's something inspired by something of Zenda. And so I don't know the thing that the story is based off of. But there's just something about it. For some reason, I just don't like looking at it as much as I like looking at the rest of The Key to Time. Which is strange, because it's usually everybody's favorite story from The Key to Time, but it's not mine. I skip over it a lot because I just don't find it desirable to enjoy, desirable to look at. There's something almost just, even though it's really cool, has this cavalier, like, a lot of beautiful colors and beautiful visuals, I don't lie, there's something about it just feels kind of not pretty. And I can't explain it any better than that. Sorry about that, guys. Next we have up is number 5 from the 5th Doctor's era. Again, you're going to hate me a lot, but I just can't help it. Kinda, or kinda. Okay, kinda or kinda relies upon understanding the mythos, or understanding, the significance of this story. But here's the thing. When I come to a story, I can't like a story just based on a mythos or mythology or a belief or a system that it's inspired by. It has to make sense in the context of the story. It has to be enjoyable to watch from the context of the story. There are good elements to kinda or kinda, but overall, at the end of the day, I'm like, wait a minute. If you don't know the mythos, or you don't know the mythology, or the legends, or the belief system of this story is not a pleasant story. It's actually it just seems baffling. And again, like I said before, if you have to rely upon another thing, or the comprehension of another thing, to justify your own story, it doesn't stand enough on itself, or it doesn't stand on its own feet enough to be a good enough story. So I see why people love this story, the same way I see why people love the Androids of Terra, Planet of the Daleks, Energy of the World, and Planet of Giants, but I just can't, because it doesn't follow the rules of what I think would be a good story, in the sense that it has to stand on its own, and not stand on the footsteps of what it's inspired by. See what I'm getting at? That's how I feel. Again, but the person who wrote Kenda, again, objectively speaking, you probably did a great job along with all the other writers on this list, just how I feel. Number 6 and 7, with the 6th Doctor and the 7th Doctor, I have nothing to give. Remember, that is because when it comes to stories that everybody loves that you would hate, are there any with the 6th and 7th Doctor? Like, are there any universally loved stories of the 6th and 7th Doctor? Or if they are universally loved, if they do exist, are they really any bad? Like, what I'm saying by that is, with the 6th Doctor, I just don't know any stories besides Vengeance on Varos that is universally loved. But again, Vengeance on Varos is really good. But the other stories that people love in the 6th Doctor's era, it's mostly individuals here and there who like it, but not everybody as a whole. With the 7th Doctor, the closest I could think to a story that everybody loves, or most people love, is Remembrance of the Daleks, but it's just a darn good story. So I don't know what to tell you there. So again, with 6th and 7th Doctor, it's kind of NA. And I admit to that. The 8th Doctor, another NA, but that's because he only has 2 televised versions of his stories. The rest are audio, and as you guys know, I don't listen to audio. I'll try and get into it possibly one day, but I don't know enough about the 8th Doctor's audio adventures to tell what is the story that everybody loves amongst the audios. And even then, most Doctor Who fans don't listen to the audios, or a significant portion of them don't. So you can't even say that that is a universally loved story. Next we have up is the 9th Doctor's era. Okay. There are quite a few stories I could actually choose from his era, but I'm still sticking with Father's Day. This is a story that I absolutely can't stand, that everybody seems to love. I'm not going to go into it here. If you watch I've gone into it so many times before in previous videos, so people who've already watched my channel, I don't want to shout at them all over again the same things. If you want to know why I don't like Father's Day, go watch my series of my 4 parts of top 10 overrated Doctor Who stories. And Father's Day, I think, is either in part 3 or part 4 of that series of my videos of top 10 overrated part 2 stories. I go in depth about that, so watch it there. But definitely, it's still Father's Day. Sweet Mary, Mother of God. It's definitely Father's Day. No, next week is from the 10th Doctor's era. Number 10, from his first season. And here's where I'm going to get a lot of hell, but it's just where it falls. The Rise of the Cybermen / Age of Steel. I am one of the only 4 people that can't stand this story. And I think it's because, like I said before in my videos, I've seen Cybermen before I watched this video. And so I think the appeal for this story is it's the first time people have seen Cybermen, so they feel this awe at it. But for me, I saw Cybermen before, so this story has so many elements of it that are good, but so many elements of it that I don't like, and they overpower the elements that are good. First, I can't stand the visual, the color palette, the aesthetic of the story. I find it to be disgusting. The silvery feel, I know what they were going for. It's disgusting. The villain is horribly directed. It's just like, I'm okay with a little bit of camping and cheesing it up and hamming it up, but this is just bad direction. I stand by it. This actor, I don't know why this is loved when it comes to the villain. It's just so awful to watch. And then the Doctor with Mickey and Rose, I can't stand that love triangle to begin with. I never liked it. I hate it. I thought it gummed up the works. It distracted from the plot lines, and it once again shows me how the writers, and especially in that time, could not do a story focused around just a plot. No, it has to have some drama in here, some Buffy the Vampire inspired crap. And I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love it, but I don't think the writers knew how to do it very well with Doctor Who. And I see why they were called on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but to get inspiration from it. But I'm like, I don't think it works with Doctor Who very well. And Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel, also Jackie Tyler and the Pete. Okay, Jackie Tyler has always annoyed me as a character. I know people love her, like, oh yeah, she's just so, she shows the depth of the story, but every time she's there, she annoys me. And the father, the whole drama between that too, honestly, it's like, can we get through one story without the Rose Tyler, Jackie, father, or Mickey and Doctor being entangled in this love triangle drama? No, we can't. It bogs the story down for me. I can't stand it. So even though there are great, good elements to this story, the whole parallel universe, seeing Jackie again, seeing Pete, and seeing Mickey, oh God, and Rose, and the Doctor, can't stand almost all of them. I can't stand almost every single one of them. Mickey, I like every now and again, but overall, and Pete Tyler, I like every now and again. But overall, no. I hate everybody. It's just the way it is. Okay, next up is from the 11th Doctor's era. I don't hate this story, I just don't like elements of it. And that is Day of the Doctor. Unpopular opinion, again, I don't hate this story. I just think the 10th Doctor side of the story, I'm not crazy about. There just seems to be something so off about the 10th Doctor in Day of the Doctor that it kind of like, puts the story kind of, knocks him down for me. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it was the dialogue David Tennant was given. I don't know what it is. But there's just something about the 10th Doctor's time in the time of the Day of the Doctor that just feels a little off. But again, the plot, the premise, the concept is very, very good. Very, very good. But I just think, again, parts are a little iffy here and there. Other than that, it's a good story, just bad moments here and there that knocks it down for me as being a story that I universally love. But Moffat, again, good concept, good plot, good premise. Most of what you wrote was pretty amazing. Just one part didn't gel with me. Next up is number 12th Doctor and 13th Doctor. I'm telling you right now, the 13th Doctor is NA. I have not seen enough of her stories to judge any of those stories being, too loved. Are any of her stories universally loved? I don't know. Either way, I have not seen enough of the 13th Doctor's era to say, okay, that is a story that is overhyped, overrated, etc. and so forth. But the 12th Doctor, and here's where you definitely hate me. Guys, this story is unpopular opinion. I liked it when I first saw it, but then I watched it again, it's like, huh? Don't kill me, listen to me. From the 12th Doctor's era, his second season, Heaven Sent. Okay, Heaven Sent is a story where the Doctor is in sort of a confession dial where he's just there for a super long time, talking about Clara, and then it has this creature who's like, made machines going after him, and he finds out that it was Gallifrey that put him there, etc. and so forth. But the more I watched it again, first of all, I took off the subtitles this time, and I realized something. I cannot understand 50% of what is being said. Literally, it's either bad audio or the music is playing too loud, etc. and so forth. I can't understand half of the story through the dialogue. Peter, you're a genius of an actor, but and guys, please don't give me this crap of, oh, well, he's Scottish, you're making fun of Scottish people. That is insult to Scottish people. I know many Scottish actors, seen so many Scottish actors who enunciate very well. There's something going on with the audio here. It's just wonky. In the story, it's like, wait, this is either genius or it's nonsense. Or it's either nonsense disguised as genius or genius disguised as nonsense. Think about it. Think of the premise. Think of what you're watching. How much of it really makes sense? Or is it a lot being thrown at you to disguise the fact that it's a lot of nonsense, or is it genius with a lot of nonsense on top of it? Either way, it's like supposed to be, oh, look at Peter Capaldi's amazing performance, but it's hard to tell because, again, I depend upon an actor being verbally comprehensible to think, oh, it's a great performance, but also I think many actors, Peter did a phenomenal job, but I think many actors could have done the same phenomenal job in that same situation. But again, it's down to the story. The directing, the color, the lighting, and the music is amazing, but the actual story itself, is it genius or is it nonsense disguised as genius? I'll never know. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Again, these stories are all genius. It's just how I feel. Don't hate me. Love you guys. Let me know if you hate stories that everybody loves. Bye, guys.